Hi everyone, it's Jill Foster again for PB&J card class, and this is video number 4 in our 12 days of Christmas card making stash busting sketches. So real quick before we start, just a reminder, or if you're new here, what I consider to be crafty stash is products you already own, use, and love, products you've purchased but you haven't used them, or products you plan to purchase after watching them used and you really want to be sure you actually use them. And stash busting is breaking through any barriers to using your stash so that you can really enjoy your supplies and your hobby. And for me, a really great way to stash bust is using sketches because sketches give you a starting off point. They limit your choices, which is for me is a good thing, and they provide structure. They give a home for the items that you've purchased and you want to use. And my approach to using stash busting sketches is to have two boxes going. These are just photo boxes, but you could use whatever you have on hand or what works for you. One holds my sketches, which are the card designs that I'm sharing with you throughout these videos, and sort of the base elements are included in that. Secondly, I have a stash box, and that is going to hold the items I've sort of curated together from my old and my new. These are all Christmas themed that I'm reaching to sort of find homes for on the sketches. If you want to see this in more detail, I'll link to that video down in the YouTube description box below. So today's video is all about using sketches to use our Masterpieces Made Simple pre-printed panels. And we have two different sets. This first one here is a glow. These are size 3 1/4 by 4 1/2 inches. They're gorgeously printed and have a nice linen finish. And we do have a miniature transparent set for each that really ties in with sentiments that match up with the actual designs. You don't have to use these sentiments with the Masterpieces Made Simple, but it's a really great way, again, sort of limiting the products that you're using and making sure that you can use what you purchase. And I love how beautiful these are, and they are sized to fit nicely either on the masterpieces or on the inside of your card, whatever you prefer. So this is the Aglow set, and I'm just giving you a look at this one. And then we have a second set of Masterpieces Made Simple that is new. This is called Light Your Path. Oh, no, this is Snowy Sensation. Sorry about that. So this set of pre-printed panels is Snowy Sensation. And really beautiful. Again, they have that linen finish. These are also 3 1/4 by 4 1/2 inches each. And then they have a coordinating sentiment set. Can be used with these or on other cards. And just a really pretty sentiments that coordinate nicely with these particular images, either on the masterpieces themselves or on the inside of your cards. So we're actually going to do multiple sketches for these Masterpieces Made Simple. Now, if you do not use the Masterpieces Made Simple and you prefer to hand stamp your designs or use die cuts for those, you could still use these sketches, just replace that focal point panel. So this is the first sketch. It's a very simple sketch. You can see you have that place for the masterpiece in the center and then some embossed background. So I'm going to do first just start by stamping my sentiment onto one of the Masterpieces Made Simple. I rubbed an anti-static powder tool over the top of that. I'm stamping with Versamark ink, and then I'm going to sprinkle with white embossing powder and heat to set that. So just a fun way you can add a sentiment. I'm going to get all the sentiments here. You can also stamp them here. I'm using Shadow Gray Archival ink, and I am just stamping that right onto the masterpiece design. Now these are Stick and Shine Design Border Beauty, and these are sized to fit perfectly on the Masterpieces Made Simple. So you're just going to peel off the backing sheet, press this onto the Masterpieces Made Simple panel, and you're going to transfer that sticky design like a rub-on, and I'm just using my fingertip and sort of the back end of a bone folder. It's not sharp though, I'm just being careful. We also have a applicator tool. I didn't have it at the time of making this video. I will peel up that clear plastic, just make sure I've pressed that on there. And then I can foil this design. So I'm going to take some foil, lay that on top, rub with my finger, and that will transfer onto the masterpiece. Now our stick and shine designs work best on smooth cardstock, and the Masterpieces Made Simple do have a linen finish. So it's not going to transfer perfectly, but it is still really, really beautiful. And I love how this is such a simple way to take these to the next level. Look at the shine that you get. You can add your handmade touch, but it's definitely doable for if you're making lots of card designs. I'll show you this again. I'm just going to put that stick and shine design right on top of the Masterpiece Made Simple pre-printed panel and rub that using my bone folder. You could also use our applicator tool. And if you want more information and a little bit more detailed and slower how-to on our stick and shine designs, I will put a link to a video just about how to do those in the YouTube description box below. I'll peel up that plastic. What's left then is just that sticky border design, and I can lay my foil on there and then rub that. I'm using a bone folder. You could use your finger or applicator tool, even a credit card. Just don't want anything that's too sharp, like your fingernail. You wouldn't want to use that. And that is a great way to add a border and just another shiny finishing touch to your Masterpieces Made Simple. And there, I'll just let that catch the light for you. Here is another one that I did off camera. And if you saw our second video in this video series, you'll see how you can use that border beauty without using the Masterpieces Made Simple too. So make sure you check that out if you missed it. Here's another look at that foiled design around the edge. Now we also have little snowflakes part of the stick and shine designs, and I'm going to add those right on top of the Masterpieces Made Simple. This is actually my favorite way to use the stick and shine designs with these Masterpieces Made Simple. The smaller designs are very easy to apply. You just trim them apart and then you add them on. So you're going to peel off that backing sheet, put it wherever you want it, press it down, so it's like a rub-on, transferring that sticky design onto your project. Lay your foil on top, rub that, and then you have this foiled snowflake design, which is so pretty on these when it catches the light. So to finish off these cards, all I am doing is mounting them onto an embossed background. This is one of our new embossing folders, the variegated design, and the card is complete and it's so pretty, so simple and easy to do. You can do as much or as little as you want to sort of jazz up that Masterpieces Made Simple. And if you prefer to do stamping and die cutting, you could follow this same sketch, but just stamp your own panel to put on top of that embossed background. I embossed mine onto craft cardstock, and here I just used a strip of white cardstock that was embossed, so just another little variation on that sketch. I also wanted to show you here that you can use the stick and shine designs. We have a set of sentiments, so sorry about my head there. I just peeled off the backing sheet and pressed that onto the Masterpieces Made Simple. I'm using the sort of the end part of my bone folder, the top part of it, to make sure I get that onto transfer that design. I'll peel off that clear sheet, and then here I'm going to use a little bit of red foil. And I will list and link all of the Penny Black products that I'm using down in the YouTube description box below. And I also have a list of all of the other supplies that I'm using down in that YouTube description box below. There you can see that awesome foiled sentiment, which just works great also with these to add that extra touch. So here are a few more cards that I've done using this sketch, adding different textures to our embossing folders in the background. I had our dash design and geometric. There you can see I added a little twine and a die cut snowflake. Here I used that just strip of embossing and popped up that Masterpieces Made Simple right on top. and then another, just a very simple, and here I just put some snowflakes on the top and layered it onto that embossed background. Super simple, but really, really beautiful and fun to do. So here is another sketch that you can use with these masterpieces made simple, and I'm going to use a sentiment edger along the bottom, and I'm actually going to create a hinged element for these. So I'm using our Believe edger, and I die cut that and colored it blue to match the masterpieces made simple, and I'm just gluing it to another one just to thicken that up and add some dimension. Totally optional step, but I love the way that that looks. And now I've got the edger part. It's like the border. I have a piece of cardstock that is scored and folded. This is the A2 size card, so it's 4¼ and 1/2. I'm going to run it, or excuse me, 4¼ inches. I run it through my die cutting machine with it folded, and you can see it cut that edge, and it has that hinged element. And now that edge that was cut will perfectly fit this Believe word. So in the Believe edger die set, you get the word plus sort of that border or the edge, which you can place anywhere on your card. I've done it with the hinged element, but you can do it without the hinged element as well. And you can see that just perfectly fits on there. I love to do this technique with the masterpieces made simple. We have a coordinating set, the Believe Builder, so you get some secondary sentiments that you can stamp down below. I love this one because it's got Christmas sentiments, but you also have this New Year sentiment, which works great with these wintry images and wintry masterpieces made simple. So I'm going to adhere just the back of that hinged element, and I'm put a little liquid adhesive up at the top onto a standard size panel. This is 4¼ by 5½ inches, but I can still open this. I die cut this with our zigzag stacker stitched frame, and I'm going to adhere that on the inside of this panel. I love just that little bit of stitching die cutting, what this adds to finish this off. And then I'm going to take that Masterpieces Made Simple pre-printed panel and add that inside of that hinged element. So you could send the card just like this. It opens up in a really unique and fun way. There's enough room on that inside to sign it and send off your card like that. If you weren't using the Masterpieces Made Simple, this would also be really fun to do with a photo card. You could put your photo there instead of the Masterpieces Made Simple, a family photo. And if you didn't want to have the hinged element, you could just adhere it directly onto there and use a regular card. So there is a set of cards using that sketch. We are not done. I told you this was a long video, but I wanted to give you lots of ideas all in one place for using these Masterpieces Made Simple. So here's another sketch that we will be doing. So I went ahead and just cut some smooth colored cardstock using our antique frames, and now I'm using our Refinement Stick and Shine design, and I've trimmed it in just to a smaller piece, so you can trim those down before you use them if you don't want to use them over an entire background. I'm going to rub that on, transfer that design onto my paper. I did put a piece of scratch paper underneath there, so I did not put the sticky design onto my work surface. And then I'm going to grab some foil and lay that right on top, and then rub the back of that so that it sticks to the Stick and Shine design. And I do recommend that you use smooth cardstock. And then I'm going to peel that up, and you have this gorgeous foiled design. I'll give you a look at that in the light. And then I also ran the Masterpieces Made Simple through my die cutting machine using that same antique frame die, so it would fit perfectly on top. Now here is another piece of cardstock, and I put that Refinement Stick and Shine design down at the bottom, and I am going to sprinkle that with embossing powder. So you can use those with embossing powder as well. And then I will heat to set that. So just another way that you can use those. Really pretty. And then I'm going to add a little bit of inking onto my Masterpieces Made Simple panel and onto that sort of background panel so that they tie together. So this will make up for if you didn't match up your cardstock just perfectly. Now they will really look like they belong together and the blues will all match up. And you can ink right on top of that foiled design and you will still have that beautiful shine. I will do that here with this design as well. I'm just adding a little bit of extra green inking up here at the top and then some down here onto this foiled design. And again, what that's going to do is just really tie these together and make it look much more cohesive. Now I did trim just the tiniest little strip of scrap cardstock and I'm going to create kind of a border or a seam there. So I'm just going to put a little bead of glue and lay that down. This is a tiny little touch, but I think it adds a lot overall. I'll just trim the sides down. And then I can either add my sentiment, stamp it on the outside, right there on the Masterpieces Made Simple, or you can stamp your sentiment on the inside of your card. And I do like to do that in the stamp positioning tool just because there is a little bit of texture to those Masterpieces Made Simple and you can restamp it if you need to in the stamp positioning tool. I added a little twine and a bow and I will pop this up. I also added a stitched frame in the background to finish things off. And here's a look at the cards using this sketch. I really love that refinement foiling down at the bottom. I think it's just so perfect for Christmas. Again, though, this sketch you could do if you were doing stamping up above. So if you aren't using the Masterpieces Made Simple, you could do a stamp design or a die cut design up above. But that antique frame shape is really fun to work with and just a great basic to have for any time of year. I'm not done yet. I hope you're still hanging with me and this is not getting too long for you. But here is another simple sketch you can use with these Masterpieces Made Simple. So I have a frame die there that I have cut and then I just use my scissors to cut it in half. This way I can use it more as a border than a frame. So I put some tape along the top and bottom of my Masterpiece Made Simple and then I can add this to my card and eventually just trim off those edges. So I'm going to put some inking on the top and the bottom. So I love it when combining the pre-printed panels with some of my own inking and stamping. I think it gives it that nice handmade touch. You certainly wouldn't have to because they are so beautiful on their own, but it's up to you whether how detailed or not detailed that you want to get. So I'm going to stamp this sentiment. I'm just holding that panel on there for placement. Then I can adhere that down onto that card. These are all standard A2 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch cards, and I will just trim off the excess. Now I work on a single panel and then I can proceed to add that onto a card base that is hinged and opens, of course. Here is another variation of that same sketch and I'm just adding some die cut snowflakes to that. I also altered the placement of the sentiment a little bit, so feel free. You can always make these sketches your own. Now here's a way to add a little extra shine to your Masterpieces Made Simple. I just squeezed out a little bit of Stickles onto just a scratch post-it note and I'm just picking those up and applying them with a paintbrush. It puts a really thin layer of shine so it's not gaudy and I think it is so pretty, especially on these ornaments and with that sentiment to sparkle and twinkle. And so I'm just painting that on. So any place you wanted to add this on those Masterpieces Made Simple, you certainly could. So that's one way you can add some extra shimmer and shine. It's even prettier in person. You can also add extra shimmer and shine using a Wink of Stella glitter pen. This is very, very subtle, but it works great if you want to put a lot of sparkle and some magic onto the snow on the Masterpieces Made Simple. So I am just coloring that right on there. And again, all the exact colors and all of the supplies I'm using are listed down in that YouTube description box below. So you can see wherever there's snow, I am just coloring that on, and it will have just like a really, like snow, like a sparkle to it. And then again, you can also add that sparkle and shine using our stick and shine designs. So here I've just cut a few of the snowflakes from the Extraordinary Stick and Shine design, and I'm going to apply them to this scene. So I've peeled off the backing, I've rubbed that onto the Masterpiece Made Simple, and then I will add some foil right on top and then rub that on. These snowflakes are really easy to do on these, and they're such a fun touch when it catches the light and you have that really pretty foiled snowflake. So here I'll show you another one. I'm just using my finger and a bone folder to apply that. Peel off that clear sheet, lay the foil down, and then rub it again to transfer that foil to the sticky design. And I'll put one more over here. I usually like to work in odd numbers, make a little visual triangle. So I will put that third snowflake down. And the colors on these Masterpieces Made Simple and the designs are so strong that these snowflakes or the foiling, it doesn't take away from the actual design. It just adds that little extra something that you can put on there to make it your own. So here's a look at the cards that you saw me creating using that sketch. Lots of different ways you can use that. These are really fun to do. I especially loved adding that bit of sparkle, trying to catch it there for you in the light. It's pretty subtle, but there you can see it a little bit better. And there we've got that stick and shine and the foil. And then one more, that's where I painted the stickles on there. If you're still with me, I have another sketch for these. I love to add a little torn edge to those Masterpieces Made Simple. I also do this with other card panels that I've stamped. I do it frequently. It's a nice distressed sort of touch that you can add. So I'm going to just tear back a corner and then sort of just ruffle that up with my fingertips. Don't be scared, it's just paper. And then I am going to ink that a little bit with Toffee Crunch Memento ink. And then this is going to be going behind that piece. So I'm going to also ink this using some distress ink, an ink blending tool, and a foam pad. You could also just put colored cardstock behind there, but I just like the little variation of color you get when you ink it yourself. And then I'm going to stamp, this is our footnote stamp, which I use all the time. Just stamp a little text on that background. And then I will layer this piece on top. Now I did end up adding a stick and shine snowflake up in this corner. If I had known I was going to do that, I would have done it before I'd adhered these two pieces together. So if that's something you love and you plan to do, you want to apply that beforehand. This is that Elegant Stitching Stacker frame die cut. These are so handy with the Masterpieces Made Simple. I think it just elevates the whole design. I put some of that Toffee Crunch ink on there, and here I'm going to use our Stick and Shine design, the Sentiment. This is from the Christmas Classic, so I am just going to place that on top, rub that to transfer the design. So you see, you can really make these Masterpieces Made Simple your own in so many different ways. And here I'm going to add that foil right on top. And that, oh, I think that just turned out so pretty. That gives such a wow factor. And then I decided to tie that in with some snowflakes. So I'll add another one over here. And then I did add one in that top corner as well. So I'm going to just assemble the card. Pop that up with some foam adhesive, and there you can get a look at the snowflakes that I added. And here are all of the cards I did following this sketch. There's the one you just saw me do, and then I did a couple others for you as well. That one has a stamped sentiment and turned the other way. Here I tore all the way across and added some music note stamping. I love to do that with bird images. So here is another look now of each of the sketches featured in this video and the cards that were created using it. I will turn on a little Christmas music for you here in just a minute if you want to take these all in again with some holiday tunes. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also connect with Penny Black on Instagram, Facebook, as well as our website and our blog and Pinterest. So I'll link all of those for you down in the YouTube description box below. And let me know, do you love using sketches for your cards that you're designing for the holidays? I'd love to find out. So leave me a comment down below. Thanks for watching and happy stamping.